What's going on, moviegoers? If you're new to the channel, my name is Christian. Welcome to Serial Productions. Bob Iger is coming out claiming that they are restructuring how they are going to be releasing Marvel content moving forward. Now, we can all remember and we can all agree that during, post-Endgame, there was a massive amount of MCU content dropping like crazy. It was overload. It was a lot. Just in the year of 2021, you guys, we had WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Shang-Chi. It was so much Marvel content, it did feel like overload. And right now, Disney and Bob Iger and Kevin Feige, they're retooling a lot of stuff right now in the MCU. They are literally shifting all of the release dates. And Bob Iger says that they will only have 2 to 3 movies released a year, with 2 shows on Disney+. Now, if you ask me to have 3 movies a year is a little bit much, I would do 2 films and possibly 2 shows. I think that with the amount of content or the amount of MCU projects that release on Disney+ and that release on, in theatrical, it can be a lot for fans to catch up on. Back in the day, before Disney+ even dropped, you had, one movie like every year? That was it? Or one movie like every other year? It wasn't that much. So with Bob Chickpea, who took over, Disney for the longest time, who really, tried to uplift the platform of Disney+, he pushed out and he put the pressure on Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. And, the phrase quality over quantity definitely was missed. It was quantity over quality. So post-Endgame, a lot of projects got hit, man. There was a lot of misses, a lot of massive duds. And right now, Kevin Feige said, Marvel Studios is kind of the underdog. And, I'm like, okay, I dig that. Now it's their time to shine and rise again. I mean, Louis D'Esposito said that with Deadpool and Wolverine, Marvel's going to be back on top again. And, there's so much confidence right now between Deadpool and Wolverine. I cannot wait for that movie. I'm definitely think it's going to set Marvel in the right direction that they need to go in. You know what I mean? Because with everything that's happened in the last couple of years, Marvel needs more wins than more L's. I mean, look at the Marvels last year. It had a negative net profit of over $200 million. It cost Disney money making that movie because it was the lowest grossing MCU movie of all time. So I'm just happy that Kevin Feige, Bob Iger are, reshifting, retooling projects, rewriting projects, doing all the reshoots, the necessary stuff in order to put out the quality of the MCU that we're so used to during the Infinity Saga moving forward. So we're in good hands, you guys. That's all I have to say. We are in good hands. But moving on to the next topic, you guys. So it looks like Ben Affleck is rumored to be playing Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Four. I keep saying this Ben Affleck shit. I'm like, where is this coming from? Ben Affleck is Dr. Doom? And I was like, you know what? Alongside Pedro Pascal, that would be pretty good. Look, I love me some Ben Affleck. And if Ben Affleck can, portray the role of Victor Von Doom in the MCU, why not? Yeah, who cares he was Daredevil? Who cares? But I feel like, he admires Kevin Feige so much. And, apparently they've had multiple conversations about him joining the MCU. And why not Dr. Doom? I feel like he would absolutely destroy a Victor Von Doom. And I would love to see that. And I'm pretty sure Victor Von Doom will show up at the end or post-credit scene for Fantastic Four. He just has to, right? I mean, he is so pivotal. He is so important to the characters of the Fantastic Four, including Reed. He has to show up in some kind of capacity. He doesn't necessarily have to be, the main villain of your film, but he will definitely spark or ignite what's to come moving forward in the MCU for Marvel's first family. Moving on to the next topic, you guys. Fede Alvarez is considered to be one of the top choices for Marvel Studios' The Midnight Suns. So I'm like, ooh, what about Michael Giacchino? Michael Giacchino did a wonderful job with Werewolf by Night. But I'm like, you know what? Alien Romulus is coming out. He also did Don't Breathe, which was really good. And, the Evil Dead remake was decent. I'm like, okay, we might have something on our hands here if he did take over the supernatural world of the MCU. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I want to see vampires. I want to see monsters. I want to see it all. I can't wait for Blade whenever that shit comes out. It's rumored that it might get pushed into 2026, you guys, which I discussed in one of my recent videos. But the world of the supernatural and, Fede Alvarez, I definitely think he can handle, these darker tone characters, these more horrific characters, especially with the Midnight Suns, man. That would be so interesting. And I would hope that would be a movie and not a Disney Plus show, because some of those characters that they might introduce, I feel like, they need to be shown on the big screen in the best possible way moving forward. But that should be very interesting. And to close out today's topic, or today's video, you guys, we're going to be talking about Camp Crystal Lake. Now, according to Jeff Snyder, he says that Peacock is no longer moving forward with the Friday the 13th Camp Crystal Lake prequel series. But then as of today, Bloody Disgusting did some digging, and they said that it's still on board, but there are some retooling happening for the project. So I was like, interesting. What's the truth? What's happening? Now, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I think a prequel series on Peacock isn't the greatest idea. Jason Voorhees has been the face of this franchise for so long. So moving forward, you have to continue it. But I also understand from a creative standpoint, what can you do to make it very different from the other films? We've seen Jason go through so many iterations. We've seen Jason fight Freddy. We've seen Jason in space. We've seen Zombie Jason. We've seen Hacky Sack Jason. What can you do to do something that's refreshed and new to this franchise and to the character? The Mrs. Voorhees aspect or the Mr. Voorhees aspect was kind of interesting. I always thought that they played into it of making Jason Voorhees black. That would be very, very different. And, having Mrs. Voorhees black as well, obviously, but Jason also being, tormented by racism and, discrimination and the way he looked and everything, and having, the Voorhees house on a plantation, and all those kind of different, unique takes would be so interesting for Jason Voorhees. Because why not? You have to do something different. Like I said, we've seen it all done before. What can you adapt that's different, that's fresh, that's new, that can get fans exciting? There are so many possibilities like mine. So if they do decide to do something like that, you guys heard it on C-Roll Productions first. But push your comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought about today's topics about, Bob Iger and Kevin Feige really shifting and retooling the release schedule for the Marvel shows and movies. What do you think about Ben Affleck rumored to be playing Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four? Now, what do you think about Peacock supposedly canceling this Friday the 13th Camp Crystal Lake prequel series on Peacock? Thoughts and opinions, post you guys' comments down below and let me know. Peace.